RSS is the RAS concentration. The MLSS is the concentration in milligrams per liter of your mixed liquid, suspended solids. And there's this chart right here. And here's the ratio right here. The QR over QS, like we said previously, is MLSS over RSS minus MLSS. So the recycle ratio that we're looking for, we're looking at like a 0.69 for that, around almost 0.7. But this is one way of determining it. You would take your RSS, minus, subtract your mixed liquor suspended solids, and then divide your mixed liquor suspended solids by that number right there. Let's say your return suspended solids, just to give you a number, let's say we have a mixed liquor suspended solids of 4,000, and let's say you had a return suspended solids of 6,000. So 6,000 minus 4,000 would be 2,000. And if you got 4,000 up here, 4,000 divided by 2,000 is going to be 50% difference on that. Excuse me, 4,000 divided by 2,000, excuse me, it's going to be 2, will be a 2, all right? And that puts you way up here. That's pretty high. So that means you got a very high mixed liquor suspended solids. Another way of doing it, let's see, mixed liquor suspended solids here. You'd have let's say we're trying to get a recycle ratio of 0.69. You'd have 1.5 for your RSS. Okay, 1.5%. That's what we're going to do. We're just going to take your flow of your primary effluent. Your return rate will be 0.69% of it. Okay. And let's say you've got primary effluent of 30 million gallons a day, then 0.69% of that would be your return rate. So another method you can do this is you get your RAS rate based on removing all subtle sludge as rapidly as possible without overpumping, because you don't want to be making thin soup out of the stuff. And the limiting factors for the settling are wastewater characteristics and the design of the settling tank. Again, because there could be temperature differences with the wastewaters, how well it's going to settle, and how the settling tank operates. So the key to determining the RAS return rate is based on the 30-minute settleability test in this case. All right. This just gets way too more involved, but I'm still going to present it to you because it is one of the forms that's used still. And what you do is your RAS rate is going to be based on your SSV divided by 1,000 minus your SSV, and then your flow of your primary effluent times your flow of your primary effluent, 1 million gallons a day. So you basically, this is your ratio, and here's your primary effluent flow. Okay. So in this case, the SSV is the volume of settled sludge after the 30 minutes in a 1 liter settleometer. So this is based on how well your sludge settles. Well, this can vary, but once you've established this regime, it will be consistent, and this is how some plants do it. So then they have this type of chart that you can use right here, where if you had like 0.7 for your recycle ratio, you'd be up pretty much around, your settled sludge would probably be around 0.4. What do you guys get for like settled sludge after 30 minutes here usually?
What do they run, Gina? I'm doing it tomorrow.
In your settleometer?
Yeah.
After 30 minutes?
400, 500 the other day.
There you go, 400, 500, okay.
Yeah. That's what they used to be.
So, I mean, in a way,
6.
where you're at, with the 0.69, and again, that's going to, it'll vary a little bit. We'll go with what works best, because we'll be keeping an eye on those clarifiers and how they're performing. I think they're going to perform great, because, it's brand new, and plus you're going to be getting a very nice split amongst them now. So this is just another way of doing it. So I just showed you 2 ways, but bottom line is what we're going to end up doing is it's going to be basically like the first method, and we're going to end up using 0.69 as your return as a start. Okay. The next thing we have is waste sludge control, and obviously you're wasting to maintain what? What does wasting maintain for you out here, design-wise or process control-wise? Because for each of these, it's going to be your what? Your SRT.
Yes.
That's right. Okay. So, and by doing it, you want to achieve a balance between the BOD loading and the primary effluent and the amount of types of microorganisms available to treat that loading. So that's inherent in your SRT to pull it off, okay? And a portion of the activated sludge must be removed regularly. We know that. You have hydraulic wasting boxes. That's an option that we'll get into a little bit later on in another class. But basically, that portion must be directly proportional to the new growth from the consumption of the food, which is the primary effluent BOD, minus the natural decay and loss in the secondary clarified effluent. And this is accomplished with the SRTA calculation. All right? Because the calculation we're using is a very straight up simple algebra one. There's other ways of figuring out your SRT in the engineering design books where they come up with, based on your sludge yield and all that as to what you're going to have out here for your SRT for the process, okay? Sludge wasting more than any other activity affects the process control of the activated sludge operational mode. It's very important that wasting is, it's a routine thing. It's going to have a direct impact because you are now modifying the population out there, the number of bugs that are available to do the work. A poor, inconsistent wasting program will adversely affect the growth rate of the activated sludge inventory, oxygen consumption, mixed liquor suspended solids settleability in the secondary clarifiers, incidence of foaming, nitrification, nutrient removal, and overall effluent quality. So it's very important that wasting is routine, regular, and it does not get disrupted. If you lose your ability to waste, it's definitely going to screw your plant up. Okay? You guys ever had issues with that where you've had a problem being able to waste? Oh, now I'm getting smiles. Huh?
Once in a while we'll lose it. Not too often though.
Yeah.
For a short period of time,
I've seen some plants where we had a plant where and I worked at this one, it was fun, somebody forgot to stop wasting. Because what wasting was basically opening a valve on the RAS line, and we really didn't have a way to monitor it too well. We just did it by hours and assumed that we were doing okay by opening this valve for a certain amount of hours, and somebody just left the valve open and they caught it the next day that they'd overwasted. It was bad. It took a while because when you do that, you've now totally changed the population. You've maybe decreased it, and so now you have more food coming in and you have bugs to treat it. Okay? That's the simple way of thinking about it. And if you don't waste enough, you have more bugs, and they're like, well, wait a minute, there's not enough food for us. All right?
They're old and slow.
Yeah, well, what you end up getting is you have a population disruption there. And then the other thing is not so much a population disruption, but it's the makeup of the population can get swayed if your wasting is off, okay? And that's what we're doing with the SRT is you're adjusting your population to favor certain microorganisms, i.e. your nutrient removal bugs, okay? Your nutrient removal activated sludge process is a complex with many process variables and interrelationships, including your sludge retention time, aerated, sludge wasting, return sludge flow, internal recycle, sludge settling characteristics, and optimum DO levels in your aerobic zones, and true anoxic and anaerobic zones according to the operational mode used. Well, SRT you guys are familiar with, you've been doing that. Sludge wasting as well, because you're wasting to achieve that SRT. Return sludge flow, you're doing that. Here's a new one for you. That's going to be internal recycle rate, and that's going to be used for what? What does internal recycle help control? Exactly, because you're returning what to the anoxic zone? Highly nitrified mixed liquor. It's nitrate laden. So you got to make sure you optimize this to get as much denitrification as reasonable without over-returning, okay? Because over-returning is not good either, because you can end up carrying over what?
Oxygen.
Right, and then that could cause your anoxic zone not to be an anoxic zone. And then sludge settling characteristics, in our case, these should improve, because your nutrient removal processes, those selectors up in front, because of their configurations and especially with the high food and microorganism ratio right off the bat in the first selector, those selectors will help encourage better settling microorganisms. They found this out. It's tried and true. And also, when you're doing phosphorus removal, when you get the POWs, when you have an anaerobic zone, those bugs really settle very well. Okay, so another great advantage of doing phosphorus removal biologically. Okay, and of course, here you gotta be concerned about optimum DO levels in the aerobic zone. Well, that's something you've been doing all along. But now you gotta worry about true anoxic and true anaerobic zones according to the operational mode used. So you will be monitoring to make sure that you keep those zones truly an anoxic zone or truly an anaerobic zone. There's no oxygen or nitrate in that anaerobic zone.
I have a question, and I think I know the answer, but I can
Okay.
ask it anyways. The mixed liquor is gonna travel throughout the whole tank, not just staying in one zone and
Right.
have a weir.
Right.
Okay. That's what I thought.
It moves, what happens is your mixed liquor is created when RAS and PE get together. And then it's moving through the zones and all the way through.
All the way
So-
through the tank.
Yeah, but what's causing you to get the return, and again, this is the part that's, it drove me nuts when it's like, why do I get the anoxic zone there? I got to nitrify. Well, stuff that has not been nitrified it's passing through there. Some of it's being taken up, okay? Because you always are going to have some uptake. Remember we talked in the earlier class, some of your nitrogen's being removed just for metabolic reasons, okay? But it's not a significant portion. You get into it, once it goes through and your nitrogen's getting into the aerobic zone, and your nitrifiers now come into play. They have the stage. They're using that oxygen and they're going to nitrify like mad. That's where that internal recycle pump comes in to help keep swinging it back up there now and meet the BOD coming in and use that BOD as a carbon source to help drive the denitrification, okay? And we're going to do another review on that as well before we actually start the process up. But that's a good point. Regardless, that mixed liquor that's being formed is going through the tanks. It's just that you got a lot that's being recycled. But then eventually, it's making its way out too into the secondary clarifiers. And it's not to say that you could have one that never makes it into the internal recycle train and just trips out over there, sneaks his way through. But that's why you got those big pumps. That's pretty much it. Is there any questions